Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, we will again talk about optionals and how we can safely unwrap them. So let's start with what you have seen in the previous video. So we have seen that if we want to use force unwrapping safely, then there is a way that we can do it by actually just checking out if our box is not empty. Well, because if it's empty, then this condition won't hold and we just go like we just skip this code, right? But if it's not empty and we have a value inside of it, then we land in this area, and everything inside this area we know when we use our box, then there's something inside of it, so we can safely just force unwrap it and force open it because, well, our app will not crash. But just imagine if we would have a lot of things inside of here, and every time we want to use our number, well, because it's an optional, right? It's an optional, then we have to force unwrap it. So, with other words, we would have a lot of exclamation marks inside of our code. And this can get really messy over time. So you really don't want to have that. And so I want to show you something else we can actually do so that we won't have to write exclamation marks all over our code. So what we would do is very similar. Let me just write it down very quickly. Okay, so what we are basically saying here is that we try to set a variable, number 2, to the value inside of our box. So we try this out. And, well, if this works, well, then this condition holds and we are inside this block. If it doesn't, then we, of course, again skip this code. And, well, when does this condition hold? Well, exactly when something is in our box, because then we can just take this number and set it to number 2. But if our box is empty, then we of course can't set again emptiness to an integer value. And that's pretty much all about optional binding. And if we would now want to use our value inside of our box, then we can of course just use our number 2, because the number 2 contains the value inside of our box. And because number 2 is an integer, so again, we have here the value inside of this box, if there's one inside of it. And this value we of course can just use like a regular integer. Thank you very much for watching.